Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Deanna C with Divine Desk All Star Apparel, and this is the 5678 podcast. I am here with my girl once again, Jennifer Nichols.
Hey,
Thank you, Jennifer,
hey!
for joining me once again this week. I did well this time. I had the mics unmuted. I went live on time. I did good. So it's
All of
it's a
that.
work in
You own it.
progress. I'm learning as I go. Because on my other podcast, I usually have my best friend with me, and she helps me do some of the work. So once again, make sure that you guys are following at Divine Dance All Star Apparel on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter for content update as well as tutorials. Okay, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share. If you're just joining in, make sure that you tag, make sure that you share, like all that good stuff, so we can have people engaging in the conversation while we're live. I want to build that up. I know that we have a lot of people that watch the replay, but I'm trying to build it to where we can have an in discussion podcast. I was trying to get my words there. And also, I'm not opposed to having guests come on and ask questions or share their
Yeah,
comments on live.
baby.
So hopefully
Alright.
we can build that up to that as well. So today's topic, we're going to go ahead and get right on in for today's topic. Today's topic is proper paperwork, or show me the paperwork. I wanted to talk about this because I have seen in a lot of different Facebook groups about what type of paperwork is needed or forms that are needed when you're trying to start your team or organization. So I wanted to share some of my experiences as well as the type of forms that I have been able to obtain, as well as Jennifer is going to share from her perspective. You work from a school outlet, and I work from more so community, even though I've done school as well, and we know that those are two different worlds when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to teaching and coaching, as well as having paperwork. Thank you for those who are just now joining. Make sure that you tag 5 people in the live, as well as share. If it's your first time watching, make sure that you comment new, we're going to say new subscriber, because hopefully you guys will subscribe to our channel as well as our YouTube channel. So as always, we have an icebreaker question, and Jennifer never knows
All right.
what I'm going to ask her
No.
in the beginning, but it's okay because Jennifer is quick on her feet. All right, so Jennifer, in your opinion, which piece of paperwork is most needed and
Yeah, I
why?
see the question and why. I can't say all of it. Um,
To you, is in your opinion?
the bylaws, the
Okay,
rules. That's the most important one. Everyone needs to know what is accepted, what's not accepted, what will and will not be tolerated, and the
right,
consequences.
right, right.
Because
So
these
you would
folks
say
could try.
guidelines and policies, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's the same thing as saying rules, but um, for me, I'm gonna say liability waivers, because
Mm-hmm.
you can have a tryout for a team. Somebody can come visit, like anybody that steps into your building. If you are at home, even if you are outside, school, anywhere, someone comes into your vicinity with your team or organization, you need to have them sign a liability waiver, because that protects you from being sued down the line in case somebody gets injured, in case a fight breaks out, because unfortunately we are still dealing with those types of things. So for me, that is the most important piece of paperwork. It's not the only important, but that's just for me, because
Yeah.
I don't need nobody coming after me, trying to sue me, trying to get my coins that I'm earning and have
And
worked
baby, they
hard
gonna try to
for,
take
because they
all
slipped and
of it.
fell because they had on the wrong shoes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be careful about that. All right. So I was just sharing to some people. All right. So the next question is, and it will vary from team to team, from state to state, city to city, school to school, because everybody's guidelines and rules are different. However, this question is, what should be included in your team packet? just everything that you feel like that needs to be included in the packet as a whole. So if
Every
I'm bringing my child to you and say, hey, I want her to dance, what do you think should be in that packet?
I will. Whew, first, I think it's an introduction of the coach or director, whoever's going to be
Mm-hmm.
over them. A formal introduction and thank you. The guidelines, the items that will potentially be needed,
Mm-hmm.
with the prices, with the
Right.
breakdown of the dues, the waiver, especially
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Um, it just, I think, just any and everything that I think with that should be your most your moment or your business's moment of transparency, because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, dance teams, whatever organizations, it's a business and you are
Right.
providing a service.
Right.
So your customers, which will be the parents and your dancers, are going to need to know what it is that you will be providing and what it is they are expected to get or order or anything they're expected to have upon becoming a member.
Correct.
So if it's a if it's like your hair has to be a certain way, they need to
Mm-hmm.
know that they need to buy this hair, they need to budget for that. If they, just everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely scheduling
Right.
to,
Calendar.
yep, calendars,
Your agenda, like how practice will be ran.
yep, the
Yeah, that's I
agenda,
think
the
that's
prospective itineraries that they can expect with some like
mm-hmm.
with certain events. And what is one thing I try to do? Everything that I try to include, I try to give them more than one choice on what they have to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
say if I want them to have some jazz boots, either you can pay me or you can get it from this place and
Okay.
have it by this time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
This,
Um,
and that's crazy. 'Cause I'm too controlling to let them go get their own stuff.
but I give them a link because
Uh-huh.
it the way the school that I'm at, the way it's
Mm-hmm.
set up, I think it's not the
Easier.
smartest.
Okay.
And I
Because
don't
you
like
have
too
to
many
have vendor
hands.
vendor forms and stuff, don't you?
Yes, I don't like too many hands dealing with people's money.
Right. And that's
And so my
understandable.
thing is, either I can order it or you can. And some people, I give parents that option because I know if it was me, if I'm giving the coach this money, but then the coach got to give somebody else some money, give
Mm-hmm.
somebody else some money for that, I don't like that.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I had a really good relationship with my school treasurer. Like, I made sure she was by the book because, unfortunately, the school that I went to at the time I came in, they was $14,000. The athletic department was $14,000 in debt because the previous treasurer was allowing people to order stuff, but they wasn't paying for it. So our principal and treasurer, they was not playing about that. So I made sure I had all my forms and paperwork, receipts, and all that stuff in order. And it was nothing for my stuff to get approved because I did it the proper way. I know that's not like that at every school, but what I did, I made sure I used the vendors that they allowed, and if there was a vendor I wanted to use that was not a vendor, it was just a form I had to fill out or get them to fill out for them to become
Hmm.
a vendor because it's easy like that. I'm a vendor for SES because when I was coaching um, the elementary dance team, I had to sign up to be a vendor. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have to go back and renew because it's been a year, but I am a vendor with Shelby County Schools. So it has its catch-22 in the school system, you know, but I kind of have used it like, okay, well, the treasurer need the money by this date, and it kind of put the fire under the parents'
Yeah.
asses to kind of pay their money on time. But if
Makes
we allow
sense.
them to get it, then they'll move like molasses, like on Color Purple.
True.
So for me, what I typically include in my team packets are the team's vision or mission statement, the application to apply for or tryout form,
Hmm.
the medical release form, like because I need to know if this child has asthma, if they need an EpiPen, or just all information related to their health, a liability release form, an expense form, which is, and some of these are the same things that you said, They're probably just different terms. The expense form, which is the breakdown of what everything is, how much it will cost, where to get it from, or where we will be getting it
Getting
from
it
the
from,
company.
yep.
My guidelines and procedures, which for me is different from like the behavior and rules and demerit system, because there are policies set for the parents and then there are rules for the children. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also have an attendance policy as well as a contract agreement. So once the child makes the team, the parent and the child, as well as myself and a witness, will sign that we're agreeing to these terms. So if there's any issue, we're gonna go back to that piece of paper. Please go see your paper online. Item B, you said that you agree to this. That's why I always tell people, no matter what I'm doing, make sure you read thoroughly to the T. If you have any questions, come and ask before you sign, because once you sign, it can become a legal document and
Yep.
it can be held against you in the court of law. Because you have some parents that will try to sue you for crazy stuff, and even if it's somebody just coming to work with the team or whatever, I make everybody
Mm-hmm.
sign some paper. Even if I'm working with a
You
team
do now.
and they don't have no paperwork, I'm gonna be like, hey, I got some paperwork we need to
Yep,
sign.
you
Because
do.
you just gotta protect yourself, because
That's true.
people are crazy. They are crazy. All right, so I do have another question. Hey, what's up, Corey? Thank you for tuning in.
Hi,
Corey always
Corey.
join in um and share the live and
He
everything. So
do.
we really
Every time I
appreciate that
share it,
support.
he likes it.
Okay, and that's
Every
good.
time. Yep. I
That's what
like
we
Corey.
need, all the support we can get. All right, so moving on to the next question. And this one I kind of want to take some time to talk about. I do have slides. I feel like a
Ooh.
teacher. Okay. So I have had people ask the question or have seen in different groups, and I might make this like a little sound clip or sound bite. Um, what's the difference between an LLC and a nonprofit? You have people that don't know if they want to be for profit or if they want to be nonprofit. What
Mm-hmm.
I did was I went to SBA.gov. I did not come up with this information on my own or off the top of my head. I actually went to the Small Business Association website. So this is the government website, and they break down the different types of business licenses, as well as the tax liability. And the reason why I say it's important to have this outside of just your regular business license, like your business license allows you to just do business and you select your name, and it helps prevent people from using for having the other name. And I have to do a little bit more research about the business name and the
And the
trademark. So
Mm-hmm.
I probably come back with another video discussing the difference between those two. But I don't know if you guys can see this, if I can even
Yeah.
see it. Look a little. Let me go to my screenshots that I did on my phone. So the first type of business structure you have is a sole proprietorship. I'm gonna only go over four, and I'm not gonna read everything because you should do your own research. But this is just to give you a guideline or just a synopsis of what it's talking about. A sole proprietorship is easy to form and gives you complete control of your business. You're automatically considered to be a sole proprietorship if you do business activities but don't register as uh, another kind of business. Sole proprietorships do not produce a separate business entity. This means your business assets and liabilities are not separate from your personal assets and liabilities, which is very important to know. You can be held personally liable for debts and obligations of the business. Sole proprietors are still able to get a trade name. It can also be hard to raise money because you can't sell stock, and banks are hesitant to lend to sole proprietorships because you are financially responsible for everything. So let's say Divine Dance All Star Apparel is a sole proprietorship, and somebody want to sue me, they can take my personal money and get, they can garnish my wages or what have you, or my personal assets. Like if I own a home, if I have a car, if I own land, they can take that if I owe any money or if I'm sued and I lose a case. So this is why you guys need to know the difference. All right. The next one is a partnership, and we do have some people that have partnerships. Partnerships are the simplest structure for two or more people to own a business together. So let's say you and your friend, you and a former teammate decide to go into business together and have a dance team. There are two common kinds of partnerships: limited partnerships and liability partnerships. So limited partnerships have only one general partner with unlimited liability, and all other partners have limited liability. So that means if you and I decide to start a team and we do a limited partnership, and if I'm the one who came up with everything, like if we decided to go in with Divine Dance All Stars, I will have unlimited liability, meaning people can still go after my assets, but they can't go after yours. So that's what that basically means. And like I said, you guys can actually go to sba.gov to get everything in detail. I'm just covering everything. Um, I'm not trying to cover it quickly, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about this part. So limited liability company, which I would suggest would be the best one if you are a for-profit business. An LLC lets you take advantage of the benefits of both the corporation and partnership business structures. LLCs protect you from personal liability in most instances. Your personal assets, like your vehicle, house, and savings accounts, won't be at risk in case your LLC faces bankruptcy or lawsuits. Also, and I don't think this is on the screen, but LLCs can have a limited life in many states. When a member joins a leaving LLC, some states may require the LLC to be dissolved and reformed with new membership. And you
Mm.
guys can read more about that. And I can send you the screenshots of this as well. So it would be best if you're the sole person that's starting it to just do a limited liability with yourself, so that if somebody chooses to leave the team or get fired or what have you, then you won't have to go back and dissolve it and start over. Now, this is the last one I want to go over, which is the other option that I see all the time is nonprofit.
Mhm.
Nonprofit corporations are organized to do charity, education, religious, literary, or scientific work. Because of their work benefits the public, nonprofits can receive tax exempt status, meaning they don't have to pay state or federal income taxes on any profits it makes. Nonprofits must file with the IRS to get tax exemption, which is a different process from registering with their state. And let me see if I need to read this. Nonprofits corporations need to follow organizational rules very similar to regular C corporation, because they have other ones. But I didn't want to go over those because most people will either do sole proprietorship, LLC, or non-profit. But it does say that nonprofits are often called 501
C3.
3C, C3,
Mhm.
yeah. And corporations, as a reference to the section of the IRS code that is most commonly used to grant tax exempt status. Now, I do want to go over the liabilities or the structure. So in a sole proprietorship, the ownership is one person, and this is just a cheat sheet. Liability is unlimited personal liability, meaning you are solely responsible if you file for bankruptcy, if you are sued, or if you are in extreme amount of debt. And then your taxes will be your personal taxes. So you wouldn't have to file a separate tax form. In a partnership, meaning you and someone else decide to do a business together, which includes two or more people, it's unlimited personal liability unless structured as a limited partnership. And then self-employment tax, except for limited partners, and your personal tax. So they can use both forms. And I don't think, did I switch over to the other one? I'm using two different screens. So the limited liability company, the ownership is one or more people. Liability owners are not personally liable. And as it relates to your taxes, self-employment tax and personal tax or corporate tax. Okay, so your corporate tax is based upon the company itself. Personal tax is your personal taxes, the money that you have received. And the self-employment tax is what you make from the corporation. So hopefully, um, That makes sense. And I got one more, which is the corporation slash nonprofit. The ownership is one or more people. Liability owners are not personally liable. Taxes tax exempt, but corporate profits can't be distributed. Now it's different if you collect donations, and I do want to throw that in. If you collect donations, um, and if you get sponsorship, you can still pay the people that come in. Because if you think about it, I used to work for St. Jude, and St. Jude is considered like a nonprofit, but they pay us. Well, I work through ALSAC. It's a
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit, but they still paid us through the donations that they receive,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So if you decide to have a coach, if you need to get uniforms and stuff like that, you can take donations and sponsorships and still use those funds to pay people. The best way or the best model to think of is like church. When you give tithes, that's considered donations, and they may
Mm-hmm.
give a love offering to the pastor, or they may give a love offering to people who may need their rent paid or their light bill paid, or if they need to buy something for the church. All the money come from the donations. So the pastors can't say, well, it's $10 to come into the church, or it's $50 to come into the conference, or something like that. I don't know how they get around that. I'm not really sure. I don't want to get too deep into that, but I just wanted to give that model example just in case you did not understand how nonprofits are able to pay their people. So those of you that have a nonprofit or are considering a nonprofit, you can be tax exempt, but you can also pay your people as well. So hopefully that was a good breakdown for everybody. Hopefully it wasn't too long, but I feel like that needs to be broken down because a lot of people don't know, or a lot of people
Yeah.
miseducate people. So I said, let me go to the actual website and get it exactly from them, because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that there were so many different types of business structures outside of the four we just talked about. I think there's like a
Yes,
B
girl.
corporation, a C corporation, a S corporation, and all that.
Yep.
But most of us will fit into one of those four. Once again, there's sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, and non-profit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, class. That's what
It
I
was
feel
good.
like I did. Okay, class. Hopefully, I said everything correctly. If somebody that is more educated in this than me see something that I say incorrectly, I have no problem with you going in the comments and clarifying any information, because it's all about educating everybody. So, did you have any questions or comments related to what I just went over?
Me? Girl, you did that with the anchor charts and all, honey.
Well, I had to make
Mm-mm.
sure, because some people won't believe that you're actually, saying the right stuff. So I like having sources to back what I say, not just listen to what I'm saying because I feel like I'm right. So we're
Yep.
gonna move on to the next question. What are some of the most important rules for dancers that should be included in your package? And this is different from your guidelines and policies. Because, like I said, for me, that's specifically for the parents, what the parents need to do and their responsibilities. But this is about the responsibilities of the dancers or the merit system and so forth. Like, how do you do
Yeah.
that?
Um, well, okay, so normally what I do, I'm gonna back up just a tad. When I
Okay.
do the entire packet, to I do what I do first, that tryout packet. And one thing they have to do, they have to get 5 teachers to sign off on it with their current grade.
Oh, okay. That's smart.
And the teacher has to be like, yes, I think she will be a good candidate, or no, she would. And what that does, for one, it eliminates a lot of it
Yeah.
eliminates the troublesome ones and the ones who probably didn't need to be on the team anyway. But the first thing, some of the biggest things I like to include is it's a sisterhood. You take
Mm-hmm.
up for your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
You take you this you will be with each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very, very important that you all have some type of bond. If not, hopefully, of course, I would want it, during practice and outside of practice. But as
Mm-hmm.
long as it's during practice, or if you see somebody trying to give them a hard time in school, just kind of, you know, take up for them.
Right.
And to just, honesty, there has always been a thing with some of my dancers.
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because there's always been a lot of jealousy going around. So what I like
Mhm.
to do is um make it so everybody is okay with being themselves. And I
Right.
think once I kind of get that cleared, then a lot of other stuff will kind of level out because
Hmm.
a lot of the drama, the no shows, the coming late, the all the other foolishness always stems from what somebody on the team may have said, what somebody on the team may have thought, what somebody didn't do, and they just don't want to be in that
Right.
atmosphere, if that makes any type of sense. And I know it's not too big, but to me, little stuff like that is kind of important.
Yeah. So for me, I have a tardiness rules, being late, and I'm really strict about it because it's teaching them to be on time. So when they become adults and get jobs, or when they go to college and have class, they would have been taught how to be on time. Because a lot of times you can miss out on things by being late, and for me, that's something that I have to work back to get back to, because I used to be really on time, but for some reason this last year I have been running behind, and I'm always flustered and just
All that,
unprepared.
yeah.
So when you late, you throw yourself off a whole lot. So I'm really strict about tardiness. I check tardy attendance for school as well as grades, because if you're falling in behind in class, you don't need to be dancing. And not saying that dancing isn't important, not saying that, I do understand that children learn differently. Everybody's not going to be a rocket scientist and make straight A's, but you
Yep.
should be able to at least make C's.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting perfect grades.
And that's
I
one
do
thing.
have a disrespect policy, meaning me as your coach, or if I'm your sponsor, if I'm the director, whatever position I hold, or any leadership, my other leaders, disrespect towards each other and disrespect towards the captains, co-captains, or anybody I set in place to be a leader on a squad, because I have dealt with that before. Because when I choose my leaders, it's not always about the best dancer, it's about
Hmm.
the person who displays the best characteristics. And sometimes you do have to groom them to be leaders. But I have a zero tolerance policy about being disrespectful to the leaders that I put in place, because I consider them an extension of myself. Social media and cell phone policy, because a lot of the drama nowadays stem from social
Ooh,
media
yes,
and being
girl.
on cell phones. I We don't play about that. If I have to, I will collect their phones, and say, okay, you get your phone back at the end of practice, and your parents would know, okay, if we start practice at 2:15, and you'll get your break to talk at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if it's an emergency, they can call or text me, and I'll, relay the message or send you out or whatever needs to be done. Because I've learned, I explained before that I've had girls to, misrepresent the school or misrepresent the team, or be arguing and fighting and bullying and all these types of crazy
All
things
of that
on social
stuff.
media. So they have to sign a contract with the
Ooh.
social. So if anything comes my way, that's it. You gone. I don't play
Yep.
about that, because we have a lot of high suicide rate with children committing suicide from social media bullying and all that type of stuff. Then you may have parents that may start arguing and fighting and stuff because their kids getting into it. And it's nothing like, there's no reason to be jealous of one another. There's no need to argue and fight with one another. This is about coming together, dancing. If we're competing, we win our trophies. If we're performing, we're giving a good show. That's the priority. So
Yeah.
those are the three main things. And once again, I have an attendance policy or rules. I have a respect rules, if that makes sense, as well as social media. If I don't do nothing else, social media
Yep.
will be the one that I'm gonna
That's
have
the
in
biggest.
every packet. So
And it with I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me, and you said it as well, has been the social media and the misrepresentation. For I never knew what it was that I was actually missing or what I
mhm,
could get through to the girls to let them know that it was okay to be them. And that
Mm-hmm.
was always my biggest thing. I used to have a lot of girls on the dance team who did not have the highest level of self esteem,
Mm-hmm.
and they would kind of take it out on the other ones,
Right.
and it used to always just cause a big problem. I work in mental health, so mental health is my thing. So
Right.
one thing I did, I used to bring in, social workers, counselors, somebody for
Yeah,
them
that's
to
good.
talk to, because I'm
Right.
like, it is something. And I understand if you don't want to talk to me, because I treat them like my kids. What's going on?
Right.
You good? You straight? You coming? You
Mm-hmm.
not coming? Like, I need to know when you find out.
Right.
And I had to realize it's not always that easy. Like, a lot of, girls, they choose dance for different reasons. Some choose it as a hobby, some choose it to where they can spend more time at the school and less time at home for whatever reason. They
Right.
can be getting abused, not eating,
Mm-hmm.
anything. So that's why I say I like, for my pack, I like to have a lot of transparency, because I wanted to feel like it's their safe house. It's their
Right.
safe space. Even though I'm with you, I don't do the disrespect, honey. I cuss you out and send you on to your mama, and I cuss her out too when she called me with the foolishness.
Right.
So I get that, but it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if there needs to be a balance. I don't know, because I don't
I
like to
get what
come
you're
out.
saying. But you can add that in your policies, open door policy. You can say,
Yeah.
hey, I can be firm and strict, but I also can be loving too. I've had so many situations where I had girls come to me and tell me, confided in me. I've even had to deal with situations of abuse and having to report that type of stuff. So I'm
Mhm.
I'm I'm here for the girls, but in order for us to be successful, because it's so many of them and it is usually one or two of us as leaders, we have
Yep.
to have structure. So just because you have structure doesn't mean that you don't, care. And that baby just want to be on the show today.
Just so bad.
It's okay.
Girl.
It's okay. So, and I do want to, even though this is kind of, shifting gears just a little bit, but when you talk about the bullying, the girls not having self esteem, that's very important to me as well, because I went through that in high school. It was never physical bullying, but people used to make a lot of fun of me because I was very small and I have a very deep voice, and I kind of sounded like this. At 12 years old. So I
What?
sounded like a
That's
grown woman.
not funny. I'm so sorry.
At 12. So they used to call me Barry White. They used to call me RuPaul and stuff. And it used to hurt my feelings, not realizing that a lot of it stemmed from jealousy, because, I would get the solos, or I would be in the front, or
Yeah.
the teachers would be like, oh my God, you're such a great. And I never, I wasn't an arrogant person or felt like I was always that, all that. I'm a very shy, reserved introvert. Like, I just now within the last couple of years have came out of my shell with me, performing in the band and me doing the podcast, which is crazy, because the one thing that I used to get teased and talked about, and people used to wonder why I didn't talk or wouldn't say anything, and they would translate it as me being mean, but it was really my self-esteem issues, because I was afraid of people making fun of my voice. So now I'm
Yeah.
using my voice all the time
Oh.
with the podcasting and singing and doing the my YouTube tutorials and all that type of stuff. So it's crazy how you have to be careful, not only as parents and teachers, but also kids, about what you're saying to other people, because you never know how that's gonna affect them and how they're gonna carry
Exactly.
that. And I try to encourage all my dancers, hey, you're unique, you're the only version of you, and there will never be another you. So you be the best version of yourself. You can't be nobody else. Somebody might be better at doing this, but you might be better at doing that. Because I had some issues with who was getting solos for this, that, and the third. And I said, well, such and such, she might be a better dancer, but you can do stunts, you
Yep.
know or you have really great energy, or you have really great facials, or you know how to get everybody to come together and work together. Like, I usually try to play off of everybody's strengths and not really focus so much on their weaknesses, because some kids, they got it, and it comes effortlessly, and some kids got to work harder. And I love
Yeah,
to see the ones that have had to work to get to their space.
me
You
too.
know, I've had dancers to come back to me and say, I know you was hard on me, but I really appreciate, you being hard on me, because they really blossom into this, sometimes into phenomenal dances. Like, it's just really
Hmm.
crazy. So I think that was good that you brought up that topic about, making sure that we include an open door policy with, our children, because sometimes we have the attitude of, well, we got to be hard, we got to be strict, and they gonna
Right,
respect
right,
me.
right.
That's important, but also being, receptive to the dancers, because I will say, when I first came in working in the high school, I did have that hard, mean mentality, because I was small, you know. I'm petite and tiny. I look like a little kid,
Yep.
and sometimes they may be like, "Man, you just 2 years older than
Right.
us." Even though I was 30 years old, it just they seem like they always ask me, "Are you a kid? Are you a child yourself?" And I'm like, "I'm grown." At the time, I was married and I had two kids, so it it really does make sense to have that equal balance, so they'll know I mean business when I mean business, but also you can come to me if you need help. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we had that discussion. And I think I do have one more question, because we talked about the rules for the kids, but I also want to talk about the guidelines for um the parents. So the last question of today would be, what are some of the most policies to include in your packet? So this is related to the parents. This is not related to the children.
What policies I put? This ain't your thing. It's not yours. It's mine. So no, girl. Jesus, your day is gone. No,
Oh,
you can't.
right,
I no, I don't need an
okay.
assistant. I don't know. Just
And
pick
you
up your
got to
child at the appropriate
remember,
time and pay the dues, and we straight.
some people, they very cunning and they will befriend you. And lo and behold, they
Girl,
been and took your whole team. So you are right. This ain't your shit. And I know you
it
may have some kids watching, but it's that crucial that
it
we let the
is.
parents know that this, you don't run this. I run this. If you see that it needs to be ran better, you can put it in the suggestion box, or you could start your own team.
Girl,
So
I've been burned to a crisp. I would never, girl, nope. My first year, nope,
it's
never.
always
I'm
that
not
first
gonna
year.
be friend. I don't want to be, nope. I don't,
Mm-mm.
suggestions, things you made up in your, nope.
Cause they sure will. They sure will suggest
How
you
they
live.
come. I used to dance when
In
I went to
1972, I used to be a flag girl.
yeah, girl, this is, and then I used to have this move, girl. I used to always wear it. That's what I used to. So you can bar, no, no.
And some people don't understand that, especially with dance, it's always evolving. You got your core things as it relates to majorette, but majorette is nothing like what we did and what our parents did and before that. So, what worked back in 1975, 85, 95,
95, baby, it was
2005
2005. I don't
didn't,
want
didn't
it.
don't work now. You
Leave
know,
me alone.
So you always have to be educated and up to par with what's current. I keep my eye on the street, even though I'm not really dancing and coaching as much. I still am made of aware of what's going on. So in case I do have to put that coaching hat back on, I won't be coming in looking like, somebody from
Mm-hmm.
1985. You know that video that black man doing the workout
Yeah.
looking like that. I don't want to come in looking like that. So for me, I the policies I have for the parents are, of course, the respect policy, in terms of respecting me as the director. I am these kids' mama while they ain't here with me, and when they get back with you,
Uh-huh.
they're your mama. Now, if you encounter somebody that's being disrespectful to your children or harmful to your children, of course you always step in. But this is my house. This is my show. I'm going to be the one liable if anything happens. So I'm going to make sure that I protect my name as well as my brand. I also do have an attendance policy for the parents as well, because the kids can only be here if you bring them here.
Yep.
Okay. They can't get here unless they do have a car, which most don't. You have to have them here on time, as
Mm-hmm.
well as the fee policy, that money, okay? Because money does not grow on trees, and
Baby
I'm not
doesn't.
going in my pocket to pay for
And
anybody's
I.
stuff when you were the one who signed up to do this. I didn't beg nobody. I didn't drag nobody by the ear to say, do this. I didn't hold no gun to anybody's head to be a part of the organization. So that's why it goes back to what I
Mm-hmm.
said about the contracts, because for some reason, we have parents, and it's not all parents, but we do have some parents that when they get to paying that money, they have an issue with it, and then they'll be the
Girl.
ones that have the most to say, but you ain't paid nothing.
Ooh,
You hadn't paid anything
girl.
to say anything,
And
so
the
please be
thing,
silent.
the one that gets me is if it's a point where the child is late, and you have a pause by being taught, you got to do like laps or jumping jacks
Mhm.
or push-ups or something. They end up being mad. I don't know why she has to do it if it's not her fault. I don't. I'm
Well,
the
you can
one.
run them.
That's why I said, baby, you can do it. And you to let that be your motivation for next time. Next time, get up and bring her on time. But as long as she late, yeah, she will be busting these laps and missing out.
Right. It's unfortunate because sometimes the kids are penalized because of the parents' behavior. And I do have a
Mhm.
behavior policy for the parents too. You can't be coming in here starting no mess or doing no gossiping with, everybody. And when we go to these events, you're not clowning and cussing and walking up to the judge's table and doing all these variety of things that unfortunately that we see all the time on my homegirls, Jasmine Lopez, Shady T,
I know.
parents
Shout out
cussing and
Jasmine
fighting and stuff.
Lopez to
Right.
Jazzy.
Which is crazy. And I know this has nothing to do with dance, but they got to shooting at the Incredible Pizza.
I saw that. And he shot his
Yeah.
mama.
Wait, he shot his own mama?
He shot his own mama, but then threw the gun down to help her after he shot her. Mama, you okay?
Wait, wait,
Girl.
wait. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry, but tell me what.
I read I read the article. Apparently, somebody said something he didn't like, girl. So he ended up shooting a man and his mama. And he threw the gun, after
But
he
why
I
he
guess
shoot his
I
mama?
don't know. I don't know what you can say at Incredible Pizza that can just make you shoot your mama.
It's
They
it's
said
some
it happened over
underlying
there by
stuff.
the food.
It's some underlying stuff that's going on with it. I'm not finna unpack all that, but their relationship probably was strained. Because I just can't see somebody in their right mind shooting
He did
they
it, but he was
own mama at Incredible Pizza.
yeah, but apparently he felt bad because after he realized what he did, he put the gun down, and tried to make sure she was okay. But
Yeah,
regardless, if it is
crazy.
trained. What? It's incredible pizza. Eat some pizza and get on the ride.
And
It's
why you got
okay.
a gun in there anyway?
Girl, he
But you
he
know what?
went back to his car to get it.
Oh, but this is the messed up thing. Now that they have this new policy in Tennessee about the gun, like you don't have to have a license to carry. You can just go buy a gun. I think
Oh,
I'm not sure if we're an open carry state yet. I'm not really sure what the guidelines is, but Memphis is not the place to have that type of
no.
policy. So, but the point is about when adults come to public places where there are children, this is a prime example, and they act like donkeys and fools and idiots because they
Yep.
can't control their own anger. So I have a strict policy about parents. If I know their parent gonna act a fool, we're gonna be like, you can't go. You
Girl,
stay in the parking lot.
I had a parent call me one day and was like, your dance her daughter was on the team the previous year, and
Hmm.
because of so much drama that went on, they weren't allowed to return. She
Okay.
called from some number one day and was like, what was it? I think she was saying that my girls were talking about her daughter or something like that. So
Hmm.
she said they're gonna come to the game and battle against my dancers in the stands at the football game. And it was like, if it go however it's gonna go, that's how it's gonna go. And I was like,
Did they
what,
attend the
lady?
school?
Yes, they did attend the school.
Because if I say they didn't, that's trespassing.
And I was like, what? I'm like, you gotta
It's
come,
not
you
that
gotta end up
serious.
going to jail. So it was the craziest thing because I didn't know what to do, where to start. So I had to inform all of the current parents
Mm-hmm.
what was going. Even though I knew she wasn't gonna do anything, but you just never know. I
Mm-hmm.
had to let all the parents know on this call that I received. So luckily, I was able to get, security, and
Mm-hmm.
all the moms was there. All the moms was there ready. And I was just like, this is about to just be a
See, the
whole
principal, I would have called the principal on this.
ghetto mess.
That principal, they would have been in the principal office
I told
fooling
I
around with
told
me.
I told the principal girl. I told the principal, and it's just some principals don't. Some
They got
folks don't
so
know how
much
to
on their
handle.
plate. Yeah,
They don't know. They don't know how to handle
everything.
the ratchet. Sometimes you have to get on their level to let them know you're not gonna do this at my school.
Right. I ain't the
And
one,
they
the two or the three.
they weren't that type.
Oh, okay. So that
So
that does make sense. They don't know how to conflict resolve the
they
ghetto way.
don't. And
I was
it was girl, it was awful. That was the craziest thing. Luckily they didn't come. The first game was a major success. Shout
well,
out to
that's
my
good.
haters.
I twirl on my haters. Okay,
Girl.
like Beyonce say. Yeah, so you guys, that was our last question. And this is why would love to have, people watching while we're on live. Um
No.
Oh, thank you, Bree Green. I didn't see that you had tagged some people in the live. I
Oh,
appreciate you so much. But like I was saying, I would love for us to, get this up and running when we have people on the live, because I want everybody to come in, ask their
I
questions. Because I'm
know.
thinking about starting a clubhouse room, because they have officially opened clubhouse to everybody. You don't need a personal invite. So I wanted to start a
Really?
clubhouse room where we can have different major experienced and quality and people who ain't scamming people um on the panel or as moderators, so people can come and ask their questions and we can have in-depth conversations outside of doing the podcasting, more so a candid kind of feel, because Clubhouse is really dope if you do it the right way. I know there's some people that be on there that just like to check each other and talk about BS,
Oh
but
wow.
the goal is to really educate everybody in all forms and methods that we can, so that we can change a lot of this foolery, effery, and
All that.
fakery that's going on in our community. We want to change that, and it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And I always say we're not going to be able to get through to everybody, but those that we can help and those that we can prevent from making a lot of the mistakes that we made as coaches and directors and sponsors. That's the goal here. And this is why we are doing this every Monday night at 7 p.m. I did not, well, 7 p.m. Central Time. I did not go over my spiel that I normally go over. Make sure that you follow the page Divine Dance All Star Apparel, because this is where we are streaming live from, not only here, but also from YouTube. We do it simultaneously at 7 p.m. Central Time. So make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We also have a Divine Dance All Star affiliation group where you can post your flyers, events, as well as if you have any questions or anything, you can post there. Of course, it has to be approved, because we're not going to just let anybody post in the group, but that's their design for a support group. Also, if you need flyers, logos, crests, I do those. You can hit me up at Divine Dance All Star Apparel or Divine Dance All Stars at gmail.com. And we also have, and I got all my questions and stuff on the screen. We also have flyers. I do real simple, basic flyers, nothing over the top, but it's a little step above poster my wall,
Mm-hmm.
just to give you something to have so people can take you a little bit more seriously. Also, if you need dance mixes for your dance team, I do parade, field show, prom, creative, all types of categories. I am available to help you pick out your songs, come up with your themes, all that stuff, starting at $30. make sure that you hit me up at the same at Divine Dance All Star Apparel, or you can do my personal page, Deanna Clark, as well. So, you guys, I went through my spiel. Jennifer, do you have anything to share? Any upcoming events that you're gonna have?
No, I don't
Not
have
right now. Well, school hasn't started
anything.
back yet, so.
No, we are just preparing and prepping, which I am excited about
Hmm.
because we are doing something a little bit different.
Okay.
We are doing little teasers just to get everybody ready for, football season and get the girls, get the cobwebs off their bones. Little teasers that we're
Yeah,
going to post on social media of
that's
different
good.
styles of dancing, because with the COVID numbers going back up, everything is back in the air. So I don't know if we're going to
What's
have a
gonna
football
happen?
season.
Yeah, and that's so crazy. Like it's I don't want to get into that. That's a whole other conversation. So hopefully,
Okay.
we can work through it. I still say be safe, take your precautions, because it is real. We're not gonna pretend like it's not real. But,
Hmm.
I just hope that we can find a happy medium to where the teams can still participate, because you got to think about the athletes themselves,
Right.
not being able to be scouted and seen and stuff. They senior year, like that's very important. So we just gonna pray that we figure this thing out. And I'm sure we will, because we
Yeah.
always do. So once
Always
again,
do.
guys, I really appreciate you guys. Those who chimed in and commented, those who are in and out, those who are lurking, those who are watching the replay, those who are sharing and talking about us. I don't care. The information is being spreaded. So whether you love us or you hate us, I appreciate all the support and fake love as well. I'm just joking. But this has been another episode of the 5678 podcast. We will be back next Monday with another topic at 7 p.m. Central. Thank you guys for watching and have a great night. Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Okay, baby. That's a perfect closing to a wonderful discussion.